who had attended the Queen at every delivery. In a room close by, helpless now despite his expressed misgivings, Sir James Clark was joined by Dr. Robert Fergusson. In due course both would be co-signatories with Charles Lowcock of the official bulletin announcing the birth. Members of the royal household gathered alongside the Lord Chancellor Lord Cranworth, the Prime Minister Lord Palmerston, and the Bishop of London. Prayers were offered in English and in German. Also present was the physician to the Crown Prince of Prussia, Dr. Wegener. On the 25th of January of the following year, the Crown Prince would marry the Queen's eldest daughter. An heir would be expected of the union. While German oculists and even surgeons are cleverer than ours, there is not a doubt that in the particular line of childbirth and women's illnesses, the English are the best in the world, more skillful and much more delicate, the Queen would write later. For the Princess Royal's future comfort and safety, Dr. Wegener must observe and note how such things were managed in England. Management on this occasion was slow. The labour was lingering, recorded Dr. John Snow in his casebook. It was also, up to a point, pioneering. Snow was a GP who acted intermittently as an obstetrician. He discovered the mode of spread of epidemic cholera and, significantly for Queen Victoria, became an early advocate of anaesthesia, publishing On the Inhalation of the Vapour of Ether in Surgical Operations, less than a year after the first recorded British use of an anaesthetic. In 1853, 3 months after easing with anaesthesia the extraction of a tooth for one of the Queen's ladies-in-waiting, Snow had administered chloroform to Queen Victoria at the birth of Prince Leopold. To be precise, 53 minutes' worth of what the Queen described as that blessed chloroform, soothing, quieting, and delightful beyond measure. The result, Snow noted with satisfaction, was that the Queen appeared very cheerful and well, expressing herself much gratified with the effect of the chloroform. So gratified, in fact, that she did not consider enduring her final confinement without it. Snow's task was a controversial one. His use of chloroform in 1853 had been roundly denounced by the leading medical journal, The Lancet. Her Majesty, during her last labour, was placed under the influence of chloroform, an agent which has unquestionably caused instantaneous death in a considerable number of cases. In no case could it be justifiable to administer chloroform in perfectly ordinary labour. Not only the medical profession but the public too feared for the Queen's safety, and some disapproved on religious grounds of her championing apparently painless childbirth. Snow's presence in the delivery room represented for the rising doctor both an honour and a burden. During the birth of Prince Leopold, Dr. Lowcock had complained that the use of chloroform, whatever its palliative effect, prolonged the intervals between contractions and retarded labour. Given the Queen's enthusiasm and its whole-hearted seconding by Prince Albert, Lowcock's reservations counted for little. More worrying for Snow was that exactly a week before his summons to the palace, he had experienced his first anaesthesia death. Happily, neither the Queen nor her 2 weeks tardy child died. Early on Monday afternoon the familiar pains began. They continued without sign of progress into the evening. Doctors Lowcock and Snow were in attendance when, at around 2 o'clock the following morning, came the onset of labour proper. Throughout the early hours the Queen's contractions proceeded, but still with no indication of imminent birth. The Queen's suffering was considerable, and it was Prince Albert, sitting beside his wife, who offered the first relief, a very little chloroform on a handkerchief about 9 and 10 o'clock. At the same time Dr. Lowcock gave a dose of powdered ergot, eager, as during Leopold's birth, to keep things moving along. He would offer a second dose at noon with greater success. Despite her suffering, Snow adhered to his usual practice and withheld